The wind was cold, sharp, and deathly quiet across the abandoned forest valley of northern Estonia. The sky was a steel-gray sheet of clouds, and somewhere beyond the tree-line, hidden between moss-covered ruins of an old Soviet bunker system, waited a group of armed enemy insurgents, ruthless men responsible for kidnapping a NATO cryptographer. But today, they weren't the hunters, they were prey, because moving silently through the shadows was someone whose name they didn't even believe existed. Her code name, Ghost Raven. Her real identity, Raina Hale, the only female operator in a classified U.S. SEAL Tier 0 unit. Her weapon, an experimental tactical crossbow with explosive tipped bolts, silent, deadly, undetectable. She crouched behind a collapsed concrete slab, eyes calm, breath steady, her heartbeat slow enough to mimic sleep. Her gloves brushed the frozen soil as she studied the enemies through her scope, a thermographic sight that showed 10 silhouettes gathered around a campfire, laughing, unaware that a ghost had entered their world. Her team, a small rescue element of 4 male operators, waited behind her, hidden, and O1 spoke, because Raina had told them only one rule before the mission. Don't breathe loud enough for fear to hear you. The men respected her, not because she demanded it, but because she earned it. The stories about her were whispered across special forces communities. She once took out a sniper team before they even located her position. She navigated through a minefield in darkness without night vision. She completed Hell Week twice, once after breaking 2 ribs. She didn't brag. She didn't need to. Tonight, Raina's mission wasn't just extraction, it was disruption. These militants weren't random. They were part of an illegal weapons syndicate supplying prototype tech to hostile nations. Tech capable of infiltrating satellites, nuclear launch systems, and encrypted defense networks. The stakes weren't tactical, they were global, and Raina knew something the team didn't know yet. This bunker wasn't just a hideout. It was a fortress packed with motion sensors, directional mics, and silent perimeter traps. Guns would alert everything. But her crossbow, silent death. She counted targets, memorizing patrol patterns. Point 3 guards outside, point 7 inside, point 1 hostage. She exhaled, slow, controlled. Then she whispered, barely audible. Watch closely. No second chances. The sniper next to her, a bulky Navy SEAL named Briggs, swallowed nervously. Raina, he murmured. You ever get nervous? She didn't look at him, only when amateurs start talking. Briggs shut up instantly. She slid a bolt into the crossbow, sleek, matte black, its design unfamiliar even to Tier 1 operators. A tiny LED blinked green. Charge primed. She aimed. The first guard was leaning against a rusted steel beam, checking his rifle that Raina's finger tightened. Not rushed, not emotional, just inevitable THWIP. Barely a whisper of sound. The bolt struck the guard beneath the chin to a soft pop, like a bubble bursting. He crumpled silently, and no one else noticed. Point 1 shot. One less heartbeat in the world. Raina didn't smile. She didn't react. She simply moved to the next. Second guard, walking patrol. Headshot. Third, turned to smoke a cigarette. Gone. Still, nothing but silence. Briggs inhaled sharply. Raina raised one hand. Not a signal, a warning. Don't breathe like prey. Then she stood, not crouching, not afraid, and walked forward. The male operators looked at each other, confused. Walking in the open was insane. But Raina walked like she owned the darkness. She reached the bunker's entrance, a massive steel hatch half buried under vines. She pressed her glove against a keypad-sized indentation. A vibration hummed, and a scanner hidden beneath the moss flashed red. Briggs whispered harshly, "Damn it! Biometric lock?" Raina tilted her head, studying the panel like a puzzle rather than a threat. Not biometric. Pressure-coded. She pulled a small tool from her pouch. Not explosive, not electronic, a tuning fork. She struck it softly against her knee. The high-frequency tone vibrated through the air, barely audible even to animals. The security lock clicked. The hatch released. Briggs blinked. What the? How did? Raina looked over her shoulder. Sound patterns. Always listen before you fight. She pushed the hatch open. Inside was darkness, thick, heavy, suffocating, the kind that swallows sound. Reyna didn't hesitate. She entered first. 30 meters inside, the bunker widened into a concrete hallway covered with wires, sensors, and pressure tiles. Any wrong step meant alarms, or worse. Reyna crouched, scanned the floor, and traced wires with her gloved fingertips. Then she whispered, "Single file. Step where I step. If anyone panics, don't move." None of the men questioned her. She advanced slowly, placing her feet with surgical precision. After 20 meters, she stopped. Not because something was wrong, but because she heard something faint, desperate, crying at a woman. The hostage. Reyna motioned the team to hold position and approached a corner. She peeked. There were 4 guards, heavily armed, standing around the hostage, laughing, mocking, kicking her chair. The woman's lip was bleeding. Briggs gripped his rifle, furious. Reyna raised a hand without looking at him. Emotion kills more soldiers than bullets. She pulled another bolt, this one marked with a yellow band at 8-time microcharge. She fired. The bolt arced, curved, intentionally missing the guards entirely. IT hit a steel ventilation plate behind them. They turned, confused, too late. The delayed blast went off, a clean, directional explosion, vaporizing the vent and hitting the guards with silent concussive force. 4 men, down. 0 bullet casings. 0 noise alerts. Briggs whispered, "That wasn't just skill. That was art." Reyna didn't respond. She walked to the hostage, cut her restraints, checked vitals. "Can you walk?" she asked. The woman nodded weakly. "Good," Reyna whispered. No screaming. No sudden movements. The hostage asked, voice trembling, Who are you?" Reyna leaned forward, eyes calm, deadly, ancient, someone they should have never made an enemy. But just when the team thought the worst was over, a door slammed behind them. Red alarms ignited. A deep, metallic voice echoed through the bunker. "Intruders detected. Defense protocol active." Briggs cursed. The hostage gasped. And Reyna finally smiled, cold and fearless. She loaded 3 bolts at once. "Stay behind me," she said softly. "And whatever happens next," she raised the explosive bolt crossbow. "Don't breathe." The hallway lights flickered from dim red to full crimson as warning sirens pulsed through the bunker walls. The air shifted, heavy with static, threat, and the quiet hum of automated weapons coming online. Reyna's eyes narrowed. That sound wasn't chaos. That was a system waking up, that a machine built for one purpose: kill anything that moves. Briggs raised his rifle instinctively, but Reyna spoke without turning. "Safety off isn't the same as being ready. Slow your heartbeat." Then click, click, click. Small metal irises slid open in the ceiling. 3 automated turrets dropped down, rotating like wolves sniffing the air. Briggs whispered harshly, "Turrets, we don't have time." Reyna cut him off. "Time doesn't matter. Precision does." She lifted her crossbow, loaded a short-range bolt with razor fins, and fired before the machine completed its scan. THWIP. Crack. The bolt sliced through the base wiring of the first turret. Sparks erupted. Then the weapon drooped lifelessly. Before the second turret rotated toward them, Reyna fired again, this time ricocheting the bolt off a steel beam. Briggs swore under his breath. "That angle. Nobody could." "I wasn't guessing," she replied. "I measured." The second turret died. The third locked onto Briggs. Beep, beep, beep. Target acquired. Briggs froze. Reyna did not. She fired her last standard bolt, but this time midair she flicked her wrist. The bolt split, 2 micro tips separating mid-flight, both striking the turret at precision points. A PCHK. FTT boom. The last turret sparked, sizzled, and fell, and oh, bullets fired, and oh, friendly casualties. Only silence and stunned operators staring at her like she wasn't human. The hostage whispered, "Are you even real?" Reyna finally turned to her. Her voice was calm, but there was weight behind it, a gravity only warriors carried. "Real enough to save you. Unreal enough to terrify them." The bunker doors ahead slammed open. Voices barked orders in a foreign language. Shadows moved. "Not 3. Not 10.20 or more." Briggs muttered, "We can't take that many." Reyna's expression didn't change. "You can't." I can. She reached to her thigh holster and pulled a second magazine of bolts. These ones marked with a crimson stripe. Briggs's eyes widened. Reyna, those are prohibited ordnance. She loaded one. So is kidnapping NATO personnel. She stepped forward, silent and confident, weapon raised. The enemy soldiers flooded into the hallway. Armored, rifles aimed, eyes raging. One of them laughed when he saw her, a woman, standing alone. He spat on the ground and shouted something mocking, something crude. Several others joined him. Reyna, let them finish. Then she whispered, talking is the last luxury you get. THWIP. The bolt flew, not at a soldier, the ceiling. The impact triggered the embedded charge, small but violent, detonating the old concrete. Chunks fell, pipes blew loose, steam ignited outward like a dragon's breath. Men screamed, blinded, panicking. Reyna walked through the chaos with steady, measured steps, firing bolt after bolt, each one striking a throat, visor, fuel cell, or weak joint in armor. She didn't shoot wildly. She didn't panic. She orchestrated death at a perfect rhythm of physics, timing, and emotionless accuracy. The team behind her barely had time to lift their rifles, because by the time they aimed at a target, Reyna had already ended it. When the smoke cleared, every enemy in the hallway was down. Briggs whispered, I've seen snipers. I've seen assassins. But I've never seen someone study war like a language. Reyna reloaded one-handed. War speaks clearly. People just don't listen. They advanced deeper. The bunker echoed now. Distant footsteps, shouts, metallic clanks. The enemy knew they were here. A steel blast door blocked their path. The last barrier to the command chamber where the syndicate leader waited. Reyna approached the door panel. She placed her finger on it. 5 seconds of silence. Then she said, not electronic. Pressure sequence. Triple coded. Briggs frowned. So impossible? Reyna smirked faintly. Impossible is just a lack of creativity. She knelt, placed her ear against the surface, and tapped lightly. Each strike strategic, rhythmic. Tap tap. Pause. Tap tap tap. Briggs couldn't help it. He whispered, you're playing the door. Reyna didn't look up. Everything with a system can be persuaded. Click. The blast door unlocked. She stood slowly, weapons ready. No hositastion. They entered. The command chamber was massive, a forgotten Cold War nerve center now repurposed into a high-tech den. Screens flickered with satellite feeds, weapon schematics, encrypted networks. And at the center stood the leader, a tall man with ice-blue eyes and a suppressed rifle trained on Reyna. The hostage gasped. A whisper. That's him. He smiled, slow, confident, recognizing Reyna. The ghost sniper. The one they say cannot be killed. Reyna didn't blink. He raised a detonator. If you shoot me, the bunker explodes. Everyone dies. Briggs whispered, Reyna, what do we do? Reyna finally spoke, voice steady as steel. We end this clean. The leader tilted his head mockingly. You think you can kill me before I press this button? Reyna lowered her weapon slightly. No, he smirked, until she added. I already did. His eyes widened. He looked down. Embedded beneath his left boot, so small he hadn't noticed, was a pressure-triggered micro-explosive bolt. Reyna had fired it silently during the hallway chaos. She whispered, Don't move. His breath trembled. She stepped closer. You built weapons to sell fear. I built skills to stop it. He tried to speak. He never finished. Reyna flicked her wrist. A silent detonation. The man fell, lifeless. Detonator rolling harmlessly across the floor. Silence. And one moved. Even the air seemed stunned. Briggs finally exhaled. Mission complete. Reyna lowered her crossbow. No, they stared. She pointed toward deeper shadows. There's one more heartbeat. The team tensed. A small figure stepped out. A teenage boy, shaking, terrified, holding a damaged pistol. Not a soldier. Just a child forced into war. He aimed. Hands trembling, more fear than aggression. Briggs raised his weapon reflexively. Reyna raised a hand, stopping him. She walked toward the boy slowly, crossbow lowered, her voice gentle, not threatening. Put the weapon down. You're not the enemy. You're just lost. The boy's lip trembled. Tears filled his eyes. And then, slowly, the pistol dropped. Reyna caught him before he collapsed. "No one is born a villain," she whispered. "Some just never meet mercy." Extraction helicopters thundered in the distance. The team walked out of the bunker into the cold night. Briggs looked at her with something beyond respect, something close to awe. "Reyna, people will tell stories about this mission for decades." She strapped her crossbow to her back. "Then make sure they get one part right." Briggs frowned. "What part?" Reyna looked at him, eyes sharp, fearless, unbroken. "Tell them a woman saved the world quietly."